everybody. Welcome to the Big Meer Podcast. I'm your host, Meer Muhammad. And today, again, as usual, we got a stack show. I got mixtape videos on Sydney Myers on the program today. Got a great interview with her. We're going to chop it up about some basketball, what's going on in the NBA right now, some predictions as well. Very good conversation, especially if you are an NBA fan. You'll love this conversation. If you don't know too much about the NBA basketball, feel free to learn from us. We're very knowledgeable. Anyways, I got something to say. And what I have to say is I told you so. So basically, if you noticed, this episode was supposed to come out last week, but I held off on it for this week because I wanted to wait till after the Super Bowl because I wanted to talk about the Super Bowl. And what I have to say is simply, I told you so. I told you Tom Brady was going to go out there and do his thing and become a 5-time Super Bowl champion, solidifying the fact that he is the greatest football player of all time. The quarterback thing is out the window. The quarterback of this generation thing is out the window. He is just simply the best out of any position. Honestly, you can name whoever you please. You can name Joe Montana. Nope. Jerry Rice. Nope. Walter P. Nope. Anybody. Brett Favre. No. Kurt Warner. No. Lawrence Taylor. No. Tom Brady is simply the greatest football player to ever step foot on a field. It is just that simple. And if anything proved that, it was Super Bowl 51. Now, I will say I was wrong about this. I was wrong when I said that the Patriots was going to go out there against that young Falcons team and completely dissect them and break them down, and they had absolutely no chance and blah, 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 blah. That didn't happen. I'll give the Falcons all the credit in the world. They went out there, the underdogs, and they whooped the Patriots' ass for about 70% of the game. About halfway through that third quarter, they fell off, and the Patriots did what they do best, play football. They did what they do best, and that's win. And without the Patriots having the lead at all in the game, literally at all. They didn't have the lead one time. They had the lead for 0-0-0. They didn't have the lead. So for them to go out there and do that is unprecedented. So this was also the first OT we ever saw in Super Bowl history, by the way. And the moment I said the game was over was when the Patriots won the coin toss. So I was like, I know damn well Tom Brady is not going to give these guys the ball back. It's over. It's over. It's simply over, and that's what happened. And it's just as simple as that, man. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. Tom Brady is the greatest football player of all time, just in general. It just is what it is. You cannot deny accolades, and let me tell you this much. 5 rings. 5? Tom Brady made that franchise. 5 rings. Tom Brady got 5 rings. The Patriots has 5 rings as an organization. Without Tom Brady, I really believe this organization wouldn't be as great as it is. Honestly, one guy did this. One for a whole organization, for a whole city. And to be honest, at 39 years old, and you playing like this over 460 yards, and I forgot how many, maybe 2-3 touchdowns, and you playing like that at 39. For the people who hate Tom Brady, I'm sorry to say, I don't think this is the end of this guy. We all know he's coming back next season. He just loved the game too much. He'll be playing at 40 years old. I don't know if he's going to suck just because of age. You know, Father Time is undefeated, and we've seen the greatest of athletes in any sport go down just due to age. So I don't know if that's going to happen to Tom Brady, but the way he's playing right now, doing all that, 400-plus yards, 2 touchdowns, coming back from a 28-3 lead, I don't see any flaw in Tom Brady's game at this moment. So we'll see next season. But sorry for people who hate Tom Brady, but I think we got a few more years of this guy left. Anyways, let's go into the interview with my girl Sydney Myers. We got some NBA talk coming up right now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the interview segment of the podcast. And today I got a very special guest, one that I am a fan of the queen of NBA commentary, Miss Sydney Myers. How you doing?
Pretty good. I don't know if I'm the queen of commentary since I think a lot of people actually hate my voice, but that's okay. I'll take the compliment. I'm doing pretty good.
All right. Well, at least I'm a fan. That's all that matters for this interview. All right.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. So, Sydney, I've been watching your videos for a while. Make sure you check that out. Mixtape videos, which you do NBA commentary, by the way. But I noticed that you are a Dallas Mavericks fan, so that leads me to assume that you're from Dallas. But so where you from?
Yeah, the Dallas area. I've been there pretty much my whole life. I mean, we moved around a lot, but yeah, pretty much in Dallas for a while.
Okay, Dallas. So, the Dallas Mavericks, they rough season, right?
Yeah, it's been better than I thought it would. I'm going to be honest with you. When they got Harrison Barnes, I was not expecting anything at all because, first of all, and with the Warriors, he was like their fourth or fifth best player. And then he made the Team USA roster, but I mean, he didn't do anything. I don't even think he really got on the court during the Olympics. So I was like, this is stupid. I can't believe they paid him so much. But he has been, he has exceeded even my wildest expectations. So he's been fun to watch. But yes, overall, the Mavericks, it's been a rough season. That's putting it lightly.
That's what threw me off the most. Not the acquisition, really, because if I'm picking up Harrison Barnes on my team, I mean, I'm satisfied with it. I don't think that, they promoted it as if Harrison Barnes was going to bring them a ring.
Well, they have to.
And they paid him like Harrison Barnes was going to bring them a ring. The promotion in that paycheck really threw me off, but most of the paychecks in the league has been throwing me off for the past couple years. How did you get the channel started, Mixtape Videos?
It's kind of funny. I actually didn't mean to start a YouTube channel. I was really bored one day, and so I made this really pathetic Dirk Nowitzki highlights video, and because I used to do video editing, and so I made it, and I was like, hey, this is actually kind of good. So I wanted to post it, but obviously you have to have a channel in order to post it on YouTube. So I was like, well, I don't want to post it on my personal channel because this is just all my friends would think it was the most pathetic thing ever. So I created this other channel and gave it a name for whatever, and then people started watching that video, and I was like, okay, I guess maybe I'll try another video. And then I just kind of kept making videos, and that's how it got started. It was totally not planned at all.
So, wow, I didn't think that. I thought it was a crew of you guys, actually, because of how much because of how good the quality is really of the videos and how much work goes into it with statistics and backgrounds and logos and the whole nine. So you're telling me you do all this by yourself?
Well, now I have another guy that helps me with the fact check, and then he also does videos occasionally. Actually, the next video that's coming up on the channel, he did on his own. And then my husband actually kind of works on the channel too. He helps me with making sure I don't say anything completely outlandish and stupid. Because, sometimes you get lost in your own thoughts and opinions. So I kind of bounce things off of him. So it's sort of like a makeshift crew of three. But for the most part, I'm in charge of everything.
Oh, okay, cool. So have you been a basketball fan your whole life? Ever since you was a little girl? How did you get into the sport?
I've loved basketball, pretty much my whole life. I never really enjoyed watching it because it was just, to me, it was too much back and forth, and it didn't really seem like there was a lot of strategy to it, but I loved playing it. That was one of my favorite things. And then when I started dating, my now husband, he was a huge Mavericks fan, and so, of course, I have to watch the games because he's watching the games, and then good thing I already love basketball. And that's how I kind of became a really big Mavs fan.
Okay. It's the same thing with me. I actually feel the exact same way about, as a kid at least, about baseball. I could not watch baseball. But I could play baseball all day. I love playing the game. And same thing again, I got my girlfriend or whatever, and she really wasn't into just sports at all. I'm a guy, I watch a little bit of everything, but mainly basketball. So she really got into basketball over the past few years now, which is pretty cool. She fell into it. So
I like how you call her your girlfriend or whatever. What does that mean?
That's my girlfriend.
Okay.
But let's get into the Knicks, who have just been all over the place, all over the media all season. First question, do you think they should blow everything up?
I mean, they don't need to blow everything up because Kristaps Porzingis is a really good player and he's young. So I mean, you could, first of all, I think they should get rid of Derrick Rose. They never should have signed him. He's just not the same player after the injuries. If he could accept that he's not Derrick Rose anymore, that he's just kind of a veteran point guard, if he could accept that, then I think he could be a good player, but he won't. He just has the wrong attitude about himself. So he needs to be gone. Carmelo, I really like. I don't think he's like the old Carmelo, but I think he can still be a good second or third option on a championship team. So, I mean, I would like to have him on my team, but, whatever. It looks like the Knicks want to get rid of him anyway. So, I mean, they can get rid of Derrick Rose and Carmelo Anthony. But, I mean, and I guess maybe that would kind of be blowing it up. But still, I mean, definitely hang on to Porzingis. They should have made him the focal point of the franchise. Again, that's another reason why getting Derrick Rose and Carmelo was such a bad idea, because you have this young player who could really become a superstar, but they've really stunted his growth. And so, I mean, if I was in charge, this is what I would do. But really, like, sitting in my desk chair, if I was going to manage the Knicks, I would probably get rid of Derrick Rose. If Carmelo wants to be there, I would try to build things with him too, but I would make sure that Porzingis is the star of the future and right now. I mean, to me, it seems obvious you need to develop him because he is so skilled and he's so talented, and they're really wasting him right now. It's got to be frustrating for him.
All right. Well, one thing I want to point out that you kind of forgot, the Joakim Noah situation that they just painted themselves in the corner with, because he was broken down on the Bulls. So I don't really understand why they made the decision they made, because he was like, the offseason they signed him, he was fresh off an injury. Like he broke his arm on the court. So I really don't know the thought process behind that one. But yeah, I agree. I think they should go ahead and just make Porzingis that guy. It's this unicorn word been getting thrown around with him a lot. I don't really see unicorn. When I think unicorn, I think Shaq. I don't get that same feeling with him, but I do think he's great. I think he can be the leader of a baby Knicks, so to speak. And I think he could be really nice one day. I say get rid of Rose. I think that was a pretty unnecessary acquisition. And
it was stupid. It didn't make any sense. That was a terrible decision by Phil Jackson. I mean, it was just awful because Derrick Rose is a ball-dominant guard who can't score or do anything anymore. So he's just going to have the ball all the time and not able to do anything. And then Carmelo is just, his game is he has to have the ball, which, I mean, there's not anything necessarily wrong with that. I mean, Harrison Barnes is the same way. And most dominant scorers, obviously, you have to have the ball. So, I mean, that's okay. But, again, so you have two ball-dominant guys, which doesn't work just in itself.
Exactly.
And then you've got Porzingis. I mean, it was a bad combination. It was a bad decision all the way around. I mean, they've actually been worse with Phil Jackson managing the team than they were without him, which is crazy because they have sucked for a long time and they're actually worse with him. It's just bad decisions.
And again, I say get rid of Carmelo at this point. I like Carmelo. I really do. I think he is one of my favorite scorers in the game. Always has been. But at this point, the relationship between him and the organization right now is so toxic that they might as well part ways, because it's getting to a point now where there's no type of reconciliation between the two. I think it's just going to stay toxic.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the stuff that Phil Jackson has said. I mean, it's so uncalled for. I was listening on, I can't remember the station I was listening to, but they were thinking that it's like Phil Jackson is trying to get fired, because just to say that stuff about Carmelo on Twitter, to throw him under the bus, I mean, and they're clearly behind the scenes trying to trade him. And, again, like I said, it's Carmelo. He's not the way that he used to be. He's not as good as he used to be, but he is still a good player that anybody would want on their team, whether they're a championship team or not. I mean, the Clippers would take him in a second. The Heat would take him. I mean, any team would take him in a minute, and you already have him. And instead of just being like, well, it's not working, let's just get rid of him. It's like, no, maybe try to find a way to make it work. Don't sign a stupid point guard like Derrick Rose that is not going to work well with Carmelo. I think they should try to make it work. But I mean, yeah, at this point, it's too late. Phil Jackson definitely ruined all of that.
Yeah, definitely. You see him making it to the playoffs barely or not at all?
Gosh, I don't even know the standings in the East. I'm in the West. Do you know where they're at right now?
I believe they definitely below 500. But I want to say they're in 10th place.
They're in 12th place. Wow. They're 22-32.
Wow.
Looks like they're a couple of games behind the Bucks, who are 11th, and then 8th place is the Pistons at 25-28. I mean, yeah, they're definitely not going to make the playoffs, not only because of the team and the roster, but because of all the crap that's going on and all the drama. I mean, they don't stand a chance.
And just last night, Charles Oakley got into a fight in the crowd. Man.
I saw that video and I was like, what the heck happened? And apparently he was like saying stuff about Dolan, who was sitting in front of him. Yeah, and so he was like trash talking him and stuff. And so he called the security guards, and then he didn't want to calm down. But I watched the video and I was like, man, he swiped a guy and was pushing and shoving, and then they had like 7 guys around him trying to take him out. I mean, it was pretty bad.
It was hilarious. And I mean, really looking at that, it sums up the Knicks this year. Most definitely. Yeah. It's just been ridiculous with these guys. But off that topic a little bit, let's talk about, I believe this season has been entertaining for me personally. I am entertained by the season as a whole so far, but I mean, at the end of the day, we know who's going to be in the finals. It's pretty predictable. How do you feel about the super teams and how predictable the game is now and how we know who's going to win? Like, definitely, like, there's no question we will see the Warriors versus the Cavs part 3,
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking about that the other day because the Mavs are trying to make a playoff push, which I think is stupid. It's not going to happen. Well, especially not now after these couple losses. But I was thinking about, like, the Nuggets are 8th in the West with a record of 23-29, which is, like, wow, way below 500. And that's really different from the way that the West has been the past.
Yeah, I remember at one point, if you had 49 wins, you still couldn't make it to the playoffs.
That was just a couple years ago, and now it's like you have the Warriors, Spurs, and Rockets, and really I would just say the Warriors and the Spurs are like 2 of the really good teams. But after that, I mean, you have the Clippers, but they've had injuries and stuff, so maybe they would be up there too. But I mean, after that, it's just no one else really matters. And I know usually, one of the top 4 seeds is going to make the finals, no matter what the standings are like. So it's not like it's really different. But it is a little different because there's just no, like, throughout the season, there's just nothing, because you already know, again, who's going to make the finals probably. I don't know. I'm really upset about it. I don't like super teams. I mean, I'm okay with the team being really good. Like, the Spurs are really good, and the Clippers are really good, and the Rockets are really good, and that's great. But when you get a team of all-stars, like, that's not fun. Like, I don't even care about the Warriors. They have a record of 44-8, and like, I don't even care because they got a team of all-stars. So it's like, it doesn't even mean anything to me. I don't like it.
It's been going on so long now that, like, it's the norm. Like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I know it's like, it's a super team because it's the norm now. Like, if you want to win a ring, you got to be on one of these teams, or else you don't have a chance, period.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the Warriors, whenever they all got together, they were like, we're going to be the villains of the NBA and everyone's going to hate us. And really, I think the opposite has happened. Like, nobody even cares when the Warriors go on a winning streak or when they lose. It's like no one even cares about the Warriors. Because, and I mean, I'm sure they're not bothered, but it's just, I don't know. I don't even want to give them the time of day because I just dislike so much what they did.
How you feel about LeBron complaining about needing another playmaker considering he already on a super team?
I mean, I understand what Charles Barkley and even Kenny Smith saying the same thing. Like, he has really good players. He's got Kyrie Irving. He has Kevin Love. and then you add in guys like Tristan Thompson and Kyle Korver and Shumpert, who aren't, Kyrie Irvings, but I mean, they're really good players. It's just like you can only have so many good players on a team. And you think about, like, what moves could they make? I just don't think there's any moves they could make that would make them even better. I mean, it would kind of just make them break even when you look at all the trades they've been talking about. So it's like, to a certain extent, right, you can only ask for so much. I mean, the Warriors got Kevin Durant, but what are the odds of that even happening?
And again, and the people get mad at the Warriors organization. Like, I honestly, it was his choice to come to Golden State. It wasn't like Steph was like, yo, hey, like, maybe you should come over. Like, no, nobody called him. And apparently the Boston Celtics were the team that gave him the best offense, the best presentation, and they really pushed the hardest for him. It was like the Warriors just went in there, was like, why not try to get him? Like, that's and that's what happened, and they got him.
Yeah, I mean, and so it's like, I can understand what Barkley is saying, but I can also understand what Shaq said, in that when you win a championship, you really want to retool and get even better if you can. And, Shaq was like, I want all the best guys on my team. I mean, of course, I want to win championships, so of course I want all the best guys on my team. So, I mean, I can understand from that point of view. And again, going to Kevin Durant, of course he would want to join the team that just won 73 games. I mean, it's a guaranteed championship. Of course it makes sense. But at the same time, as a person, like, when you win that championship, does it even mean anything? I mean, to me, like, the only ring that matters to me for LeBron is the one in Cleveland. Now, I give him credit for the other ones in Miami, but it was nothing compared to that one that he got in Cleveland. It just meant so much more because he didn't have that super team. He had a really good team, but he didn't have that super team. He didn't just go and try to cheat it out. He actually fought and won. Those are the ones that matter. And for Kevin Durant, I don't think it would really matter that much to me if he won this year.
And at this point, I don't really think Kevin Durant cares, though. Honestly, like, even the way he talked, I remember Kevin Durant being the most timid, humble guy, quiet, never said anything. And now he, like, talking.
He's a jerk face, I know.
Yeah, he has a personality now. And I'm like, where did this come from, I found it entertaining. I found it a little bit entertaining.
Sorry.
But yeah, go ahead.
That's why I never believe NBA writers when they say that this player is just the nicest guy. They said that about Kevin Durant. They say that about Dwayne Wade. They're like, he's the nicest guy in the NBA. I'm like, whatever. That's a load of crap. Because it's like, they act like a jerk. Okay, and you're going to tell me they're nice guys. How many times do you have to tell me that before? Now you're just forcing it. But yeah, I know what you mean. Kevin Durant, he changed.
He changed a lot because look what team he's on. You can't tell him nothing anymore.
Yeah, well, now he can talk because he's got, a team of all-stars, but he wasn't doing that before.
No, not at all. Even though I always like Kevin Durant. I'm not going to say that, I still like Kevin Durant. I think he definitely a top 5 player in the league, but it's the decisions this guy made. The decision this guy made. That was a big turnoff to me.
Yeah. I just, I expected more, and I think that loyalty does mean something. Maybe you don't get 5 rings out of it, but you still have the loyalty of staying with the team. And, who knows, they might have won it. I mean, they almost won. They almost made it to the finals. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, another thing. So, I work in this sports store, right? I sell sports merchandise.
Which one?
Lids.
Oh, okay. I used to work at Academy Sports and Outdoors, so I'm just wondering.
Nice. So of course I'm talking to employees and coworkers, I should say, and customers, all sports fans. So we be getting into like debates and stuff, and it's pretty fun. Anyways, one thing I noticed in specific, people, when it comes to Russell Westbrook in specific, get extremely sensitive. Because I'm the only guy that I know that says, triple-double, sure, he's still the 7th seed, and you can't be MVP as a 7th seed. You have to be at least top 2 to even be a contender for the award, you know? And people get really upset. Well, that's stupid. And I'm like, well, if they gave Russell Westbrook the MVP at the 7th seed, me personally, I feel like it diminished the value of the award because to me in sports, the most important thing is wins and losses.
Yeah.
Which counts for the award. So what do you think about that?
Well, first of all, I think that James Harden is going to win MVP, even though I really dislike him. I think he's probably going to win it. But
Why don't
I
like
think
James
that,
Harden?
why don't I like? Well, I mean, I don't. We're not even going to get into that. But going back to Russell Westbrook, but I mean, okay, you think about averaging a triple double and what MVP means, like most valuable player. So you have a guy that's putting up 30 a night, grabbing double-digit rebounds, getting double-digit assists with a couple steals. You talk about being valuable. I don't see how you could be more valuable to your team than to average a triple-double. I mean, to me, that almost is like the definition of most valuable, averaging a triple-double. So to me, it seems obvious. The only negative is that, yeah, they're the 7th seed. They're 30 and 23. And so, I mean, again, that's why I think that James Harden is going to win MVP. But, I mean, I wouldn't mind at least considering Russell Westbrook for MVP. If he comes in second, I think that would be great. But, you know, the year that Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double, he didn't win MVP either. So it's not like it's guaranteed.
Exactly. You know, because people don't like to point out the win-loss record. And I feel like in sports, the most important thing, yeah, triple double is great. It's something I've never seen in my lifetime. Somebody average a triple double. So for me to see that is awesome. But then again, you're missing the most important thing. You got to be top 2 on either side of the fence. And who is the 2nd seed on the East? I think the Celtics at this point.
Yeah.
Is Isaiah Thomas considered a contender?
Oh my gosh. I mean, he should be. I mean, honestly, every year it should be LeBron considered. But yeah, I mean, Isaiah Thomas, James Harden, you know, anyone from the Clippers probably. I think Russell Westbrook. I mean, I think it's kind of obvious that it's going to go to Harden just because it almost did last year. And this year they have even less and are still doing really well. But yeah, I mean, Isaiah Thomas could be in there too, especially with what he's been doing in, you know, crunch time in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been pretty amazing. I don't know. That's a tough one.
All right. So for the guys I got as contenders, obviously you got to put Curry and Durant in there. I don't think they're going to win. They kind of canceling each other out because they're on the same team now. I don't think they're going to win, but I think the automatic contenders easily. LeBron, of course, that's every year. Kawhi Leonard.
Every year, yeah.
Yeah, Kawhi.
Oh, yeah, Kawhi.
Kawhi has been playing great. And James Harden. I don't know if we're going with a 5, I wouldn't be able to put Isaiah Thomas in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a top team.
Because when I feel like the vibe I get from the Celtics right now is that it's really like Isaiah Thomas is killing it in the 4th quarter right now. But for the most part, I feel like it's a team effort. Like that is just it's a well-oiled machine at the moment, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot like the Spurs. You know, for them, it's really a team game. And obviously, you know, they're going to have a guy that is, I mean, every team has an MVP. And I think people forget about this. They're like, how can you not look at Kawhi or, you know, this guy or that guy or, you know, Gordon Hayward? It's like, well, every team has an MVP. But when you're talking about the league MVP, you know, again, with the Spurs, it's like it's really a team game. With the Celtics, it's kind of the same thing. And even the Cavaliers, it's really, you know, LeBron is not the only guy anymore. So, you know, going back to my pick with Harden, I mean, I can name other guys on the roster, but that's because I watch basketball. Most people, it's James Harden, and that's pretty much it.
Right. So your final pick is definitely James Harden taking it, even if he's the 3rd seed, because I don't really see them getting past the Spurs. In the
because
rankings.
Like you said, with the Warriors, Curry and Durant cancel each other out. They should not even be talked about whenever you say the word MVP. I mean, there's no way. With the Spurs, I think it's really a team game, and so yeah, I'd say James Harden, even though I really don't like him, but I'll give him that.
I'm stuck between Harden and Kawhi. Those are my 2 picks, though. And, of course, LeBron is an automatic every
Yeah.
thing. I don't really like to even mention him when it comes to MVP. But let's get into the other awards. Who looking good on defense right now?
Defensive Player of the Year. Gosh, I don't even know. Like last year, when the year started, I thought that Hassan Whiteside was going to be like a shoo-in because of what he's done
Right.
over the past couple of years. But now, I mean, the Heat, they're 23-30, so definitely not that. But I don't really know. Who's your pick?
You know, that's a really hard, it is a really hard one. I don't know why I want to say DeMarcus Cousins, but
Yeah, they don't have a good enough record though.
nah. Well, I
I
mean,
say,
with defensive player of the year, really don't they really don't
yeah,
consider
it's true.
consider record for this one
Yeah,
at least. But
I think I would probably say Kawhi Leonard or maybe Draymond Green or DeAndre Jordan. Those would probably be my top three picks.
right, well, yeah, Kawhi's the automatic for that award too.
Yeah.
All right, let's say that if he don't win MVP, he'll win defensive player of the year.
Yeah. Well, he might. No, I don't think he'll win both. But yeah,
No,
maybe defensive
like
player.
he'll win one or the other.
Yeah.
Like if he don't get one, he'll get the other one.
Yeah.
Who looking good on the 6-man side right now?
I don't even know. I don't even pay attention to. Hey, my pick right now for sixth man would probably be either Seth Curry or Yogi Ferrell. Those would be my picks, even though they're both starting right now. But that's my totally biased.
I was actually gonna say Seth Curry.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's starting right now, and
Right.
he's been really good, and they've had a really good record with him starting. So technically, he wouldn't really be sixth man of the year, but I mean, he came off the bench a lot, so maybe he would be considered. But
You
other
think-
than that,
You
Yeah, I
think
don't
he
know.
you think he got himself a job finally instead of because he's been on just about every team at this point.
yeah, you know what? And I was tweeting about this the other day. Like, I am really happy for Seth Curry because it's got to be tough with Steph as your brother. I mean, just lighting up the league. And, and then Seth was never, like, considered a good player. He was always the kind of like the Brooke Lopez, Robin Lopez, or it's always like one brother is really, really good and the other one just sucks. Like there's no in between. It's either like MVP or D League. It seems like it's always like that.
Well, and the Gasol brothers are awesome.
Well, yeah, that's true. But for a while, Marc Gasol wasn't what he is now. I mean, he was kind of like no one really thought about him, but now he's definitely made a name for himself. But with Seth Curry, it was kind of the same thing. I mean, he was like he bounced around the league. He never really ever played, and that had to be tough. Everyone knows that Steph is your big brother, and you just don't even get to do anything.
Right.
And so I'm really happy for him that he's able to be on a team, he's able to contribute with minutes, and he is playing really well. I think since he's been in the starting lineup, he's averaging like 15 or 16 points, and he's become a really good shooter, a really good driver. I mean, he's become a really good player, so I'm happy for him.
Right. And it's weird because he got accepted into a much, much more prominent college than
Yeah, well, that was
than
probably just because of Steph.
Steph did. But what's the other awards? We got MVP down, defensive player, 6-man, rookie.
Most improved player. Oh, rookie of the year.
I don't even want to guess because I hate this class of rookies. I think all of them except Embiid, who is he technically a rookie this year?
Yeah, well, it's like the Blake Griffin thing where he was out for a year and then he came in and dominated.
So
and
I mean,
won.
I guess he counts, but I don't like these rookies this year. I'm really not into
Yeah,
it.
so far it hasn't been anything like really amazing. So I don't know. Maybe their second year will be better. The other award I was thinking of was most improved player, and again, being a Mavs fan, I would probably say Harrison Barnes. He has improved. Let me see his numbers from last year to this year.
You sure he would be eligible considering the fact that he was in the finals last year, though?
Yeah.
You think he'd be eligible still? I mean, he was a starter in those finals as well.
Yeah, so last year he averaged 11.7 points, and this year he's averaging 20.2. So that's like basically almost doubling his production. So to me, I mean, that's got to be most improved player. I don't know how they critique everything, but I mean, just looking at the numbers, he went from kind of a forgotten guy on the Warriors to now the number one guy on, an okay team. To me, that's got to be most improved player.
I feel you. I got Lou Williams for that award, by the way, on the Lakers. Lakers suck right now, but Lou Williams' numbers are really good right now.
Let me see. What is he averaging? 18 points. So last year he averaged 15.3 points. This year he's averaging 18 points, shooting 44%, which isn't great, but it's not awful. I mean, last year he shot 41%. So yeah, he could be considered for that too. That's a good pick.
Yeah, but considering the team he on, like he got that free reign to take more shots and stuff.
Yeah, which is really, that's exactly what he needs.
Right. Yeah. But anyways, before I let you go real quick, give me some predictions. Who you got, the Cavs or the Warriors in the finals?
Are we assuming already that I think that the Spurs have a chance of beating the Warriors and making it to the finals. The thing with the Warriors is it's their first year, and so anything could happen once you get to the playoffs, especially since Kevin Durant still has the bad tendency of thinking that he can just, pull up and not actually play basketball and make these, crazy, stupid shots. He's never been on a championship team, so
right.
That might cause problems for them. And then the Spurs are just good, and they have Popovich, so I think the Spurs could beat the Warriors. However, that's like a bold pick. I mean, the obvious pick is the Warriors, and then the Cavaliers. And I don't know. I mean, again, the obvious pick seems to be the Warriors to win the championship, but you never know. I mean, last year what the Cavs did, that was pretty amazing, and I know that they lost Draymond Green, but still, I mean, it's not like he's averaging 20 points a game. So,
right.
I mean, the obvious pick would be, Cavs Warriors, with the Warriors winning, but I could see it being Spurs Cavs. I could see the Cavs beating the Warriors. So it's really, who knows?
And who do you think can at least give the Cavs a headache in the playoffs?
It's like, I don't think any of these teams, like
nobody, right?
The Hawks, the Raptors, the Wizards. I mean, they're great teams. I give them credit. It'll be fun to watch, but I don't think that they're anything really. The Celtics, I think, could make it an interesting series, but I mean, I don't really think anybody could beat them. I don't know. Anytime you have LeBron, he's an MVP for a reason, and then you add in Kyrie, you add in Kevin Love, and then once their shooters get going, I think the Celtics could make it an interesting series, but that's pretty much it.
I got the Cavs sweeping everybody.
Okay.
Sweeping the whole conference.
I don't know if that'll happen, but yeah, it might. I mean, who knows? It could be, a 6-game series, but none of the games are actually good, so we'll see.
Right. Well, I mean, I hate LeBron. I'm not a fan, but playoff LeBron is a completely different animal until he gets to the finals, at least, considering his finals record. But
yeah.
I think he could literally, it's not even a joke. I literally think he could sweep that whole conference.
Yeah, the thing is that he's older now, and the reason why he's had problems in the finals is that he's not a pure scorer. And you look at guys that he's compared to, like Jordan and Kobe, and they were just born to score. And LeBron is a good scorer, but what people talk about with LeBron is that he's an all-around player. He's a really good passer. Mm-hmm. He's a good rebounder. He's really good at everything, but he's not a pure scorer. And that's why he's had problems in the finals, because he can't just score no matter what every single time. He's done it here and there, and he's had some amazing performances, but that's why he's always struggled, I think. But now they have a good enough team to where I don't think it matters. So yeah. They might just sweep through, but that would be really hard to do.
Yeah, they almost did. I think they lost 2 to the Raptors. Those are the only games they lost last year, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was, the East. It's like I said, the Wizards and Raptors. I mean, I don't even think it's like, I wouldn't even watch the playoffs. You already know what's going to happen.
All right, well, go ahead and plug everything, and let me let you go.
Oh, sure. Thanks for having me on. I mean, I had a blast. I love talking about basketball. So, the YouTube channel is Mixtape Videos. So you'll find NBA top 10s, player versus crazy NBA stories. So definitely go check it out. And we're also on Twitter and Facebook at Mixtape Videos. So thank you very much for having me on.
No, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. All right, great interview with Sydney Myers there from Mixtape Video. Hopefully, we can get her back maybe around the tail end of the season, right before the playoffs start, and chop it up about the second half of the season. But, anyways, you notice a trend right now? I do. The trend is biopics, especially about musicians. We all know that musicians have some wild ass stories. And me personally, I believe a lot of the stories are perfect for the television screen. So, since this is a trend right now, we all know that the three-part New Edition story just came out, and that's been the trending topic lately when it comes to television. I want to talk about biopics best and worst. So, I want to start off with the worst ones, all right? And I am ranking. I just got 3 apiece, so we got 3 best, 3 worst. My 3 best, my 3 worst. So coming in at 3 for the worst section is Notorious. Notorious got a lot of mixed reviews when it came out. I remember it came out, and people thought it was great, like really, really great, and then the other half thought it was just awful. I'm on that awful side. I thought the movie was extremely bad, from the casting to the acting. It was just bad. Papa Doc was playing Tupac. It was just really off, and on top of that, it was really short. If you look at the duration of the movie, I'm gonna just go ahead and throw it on a limb. I think the movie is only about maybe an hour and 40 minutes. You can't cram somebody's life story into an hour and 40 minutes, which is what they tried to do. They started off with him as a kid, from him being in the streets, selling rocks, doing what he do, and to him making the music, and I feel like they could have really went way more in depth with what should have been a fabulous movie about Biggie. I feel like they kind of did his legacy dirty doing that movie, because it was so bad. Anyways, coming in to number 2 for the worst section, we got Surviving Compton. Excuse me, the Michelet story. Now, if you don't know who Michelet is, I don't blame you. Go ahead and Google her, but she is a singer, and she was dating Dr. Dre from NWA at that time. Yes, Dr. Dre. She was dating him that whole time. And basically, she made this movie because she was offended that she got left out of Straight Outta Compton. Now, if her story is true from what this movie depicts, then I understand why Dr. Dre and the crew decided to keep her off the movie. Because another one, this is again, it was horrible casting, horrible acting. Me personally, I can't stand Michelet's little Elmo voice. I don't like it. The girl was doing her voice, and the real Michelet was narrating over the movie the whole time as well. So we got a lot of that squeaky little Elmo voice on top of that, which is awful. And Dr. Dre was kicking this girl's ass every scene. Even in the first scene where they first met, he dropped the B word on it. He called her a B and all type of stuff. And then they was on a date. Then the next scene they was fornicating, I guess you could say. And then, the next scene, she pregnant, and he hitting her, and he's shooting at her, and he's stomping her, and he left her in the house with no lights and no food, and then go back, he beating her. It was the whole movie. It was very rushed. It skipped over a lot of things, and the whole movie was basically she getting beat. Skip over that a couple years later, she dating Suge Knight. Suge Knight beating her. She signed some fake contract, so Suge Knight swindled her at the same time. It was really bad. Surviving Compton was really bad. It's so bad that I still recommend you to watch it, just so you can understand the magnitude of how bad this movie really is, honestly. So go check that out. Number 1 I got for my worst. This is the absolute worst biopic of all time, and I think it's gonna be really hard to beat this one. The Aaliyah movie, The Princess of R&B. Again, another movie that was just absolutely terribly casted. The story was rushed over. It was too short. You cannot cram somebody's life story into just an hour. or so, it's just impossible. But anyways, that movie was awful too, and luckily they didn't get too dark with it, which I kind of commended them on. That was the only positive, is that they didn't show her getting on the plane or anything. They showed her getting in the limo and driving off, and then the screen just turned white, and that's how the movie ended. But everything about this movie sucked. The acting sucked. It showed no depth. It gave you no information. I really didn't learn anything about Aaliyah at all. Again, another terrible movie. Anyways, let's get into the best. We got the top three for the best. Coming in at number three for this one, TLC movie. I forgot the exact. I think it was funny, crazy, sexy, stupid, or something like that. Anyways, look up TLC biopic. You'll be able to find it. Anyways, I learned a lot about the group as a whole in this movie, and it was the cast was awesome. You cannot go wrong with Keke Palmer. Lil Mama actually surprised me with her acting as Left Eye Lisa. It was really good, and overall the music was awesome. The reenacting of the music videos, everything they did was so well done. And TLC definitely gets the nod. Coming in at number two is the trending topic right now, the three-parter to the New Edition story. Man, I can only imagine being in the media industry and editing videos. I know I can edit a video and it'll be 2 minutes and it take about 3 hours. So I can only imagine how long it took them to do this, how long it took them to get they cast down, and how long it took them to get the choreography down, and how long it took them to get the clothes from that time down. I mean, my God, you can tell how much effort went into making this, not only making this, but making this a quality special. And they really did their job with this. The acting was awesome, even from the little kids on up to Hakeem and the crew. It was just a great movie all around, a great story, and some great music that we see coming back to the light again. Can You Stand in the Rain, and even the Bobby Brown songs, Every Little Step. I heard Every Little Step on the radio a couple days ago in the morning going to work. I heard Every Little Step. So like Bobby Brown is like popular all over again. He's a star again. So good for those guys. And yeah, great movie. Great movie in 3 parts. They went in depth. They did it. I feel like they did it when it come to the 3-parter. They did it the right way. They did it better than everybody actually, because again, like I've been saying the whole time about the worst ones, you can't cram somebody's life story into an hour and a half. And they made this 3 parts, every part about an hour and a half. So that we got in-depth stories and an in-depth look at each guy. I mean, it's 5 members in the group. Of course, if you watched it already, we all know Bobby Yak kicked out, did his solo thing. Johnny Gill came in. Then they all split up and did separate projects from each other and all that stuff. So we got an in-depth look at each and every part of their careers and lives to a certain extent. So, great movie. And of course, number one, which I felt brought this major recent wave of biopic movies, is Straight Outta Compton, NWA. Man, the casting on this was incredible, and just the story and the influence of these guys. And I mean, this movie has such an influence on people that all of a sudden, like everything, you couldn't go anywhere. It was straight out of everything shirts. It was like whatever town you was in, like I'm from Chicago, it's straight out of Chicago shirts everywhere, straight out of this, straight out of that. And the influence, people who had never thought of rapping, all of a sudden making mixtapes and rapping and stuff and trying to do it on their own, do it like NWA. It got to such a point, the influence of the movie got blew up to a point where Straight Outta Compton, the album, charted again. It recharted itself on back to the billboards. I think the highest it hit was maybe 50 or something, maybe even higher. But man, it's ridiculous how that movie blew up the way it did. The influence it put on a lot of kids that want to rap or want to do anything creative. They did it the right way. And I think Ice Cube is just a great director. He definitely honed his craft as a director, and he did his thing. They all did their thing, and Great movie overall. I feel like it's the best biopic of all time. Anyways, follow me on everything at AhmedY2J, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel. I'm out. See you on the next episode of the Big Meer Podcast.